If you've been following soil stories for a while, you already know I love digging up those old, almost forgotten garden secrets that our grandparents swore by, those strange smelling brews and backyard concoctions that magically turned poor soil into a thriving oasis. Today we're going deep into one of the most powerful, overlooked, and surprisingly simple soil rebuilding formulas ever created, fermented plant juice, often shortened to FPJ. This ancient garden tonic has been used quietly in traditional farming communities around the world, even long before the term organic gardening became trendy. And the best part? It rebuilds soil shockingly fast. It's like giving your soil a direct infusion of life. Enzymes, growth hormones, minerals, beneficial microbes, all extracted straight from plants themselves. So pull up a chair, fellow gardener. Let's talk about what FPJ really is, how it works, how to make it correctly, and how to use it to revive even the most exhausted soils. This is one forgotten soil secret you'll be glad to rediscover. Fermented plant juice is, a liquid concentrate made by fermenting fresh, nutrient-dense plant material with brown sugar. As the plant matter breaks down, it releases an explosion of enzymes, growth hormones, vitamins, plant-based nutrients, and microbiological life. Think of it as the bloodstream of the plant, preserved, bottled, and poured back into your soil. This isn't compost tea, it's not fertilizer water, it's not a microbial brew, it's something far more powerful because it captures the plant's living essence and delivers it right into your soil's microbial network. You're tapping into the plant's own internal growth system and feeding it back to your garden. If you've ever wished your soil would bounce back quicker, grow richer, or respond more dramatically to natural amendments, FPJ is your new best friend. Here's why it works so fast. First, plants contain natural hormones that stimulate root development, cell division, leaf expansion, and microbial colonization. When these hormones are extracted through fermentation, they remain active. When applied to soil, they jumpstart everything. Microbes wake up, roots grow aggressively, and the soil rebuilds its structure in record time. FPJ also acts like a bridge between organic matter and soil biology. The sugars feed beneficial microbes, the enzymes energize decomposition, and the plant nutrients enrich the soil's upper layer where most root activity happens. Instead of waiting months for compost to break down, FPJ gives your soil immediate biological activity, speeding up regeneration dramatically. But what makes FPJ especially magical is that it uses the wisdom of local plants, especially fast-growing, vigorous ones. These plants know how to thrive in your climate, and you're simply borrowing their power for your soil. Your FPJ will only be as good as the plants you use. The secret is choosing fast-growing, vigorous, healthy plant tips. The tips contain the strongest growth hormones. In fact, if you choose wisely, your FPJ becomes not just a fertilizer, but a powerful soil activator. Look around your yard or neighborhood and identify wild plants or weeds that grow quickly without fertilizers. These plants are basically signaling, we are packed with growth power. That power transfers directly into your FPJ. Alright, so here are some ideal candidates you might want to consider. Comfrey, which is often called the king of nutrient accumulation. Mulberry tips, those fast-growing shoot tips that are just packed with growth hormones. Sweet potato vines, known for their incredible vigor. Banana stems, or leaves, which are, honestly, just loaded with potassium. Then you've got wild greens like chickweed, amaranth, and nettle, all of them rich in minerals. And of course, tithonia, also known as Mexican sunflower, which has a bit of a reputation as a legendary soil booster. Whatever you choose, just make sure the plant is healthy, vibrant, and free from chemicals. There are a lot of versions of FPJ floating around online, but the traditional method has always been incredibly simple. Honestly, it's one of those things that feels almost too easy, at least until you see the results. Alright, so, start by harvesting your plant tips in the early morning before the sun gets hot. This is actually when plant hormones are at their peak. Next, chop them into small pieces to expose more surface area. Place the plant material in a jar and add brown sugar in equal weight. Brown sugar doesn't just sweeten, it pulls the juices out of the plant through osmosis and, feeds beneficial microbes that appear during fermentation. Now, mix the plant and sugar thoroughly, then press the mixture down. You'll notice within minutes the plants begin releasing liquid. That's exactly what you want. Cover the jar with a breathable cloth or a loose lid to allow gases to escape. Fermentation takes around 5 to 7 days, depending on temperature. Once the liquid rises and the scent becomes sweet, herbal, and lightly alcoholic, go ahead and strain it. The liquid you collect is your FPJ concentrate. Store it in a cool, dark place. Properly made FPJ can last months, even years. This is where the fun begins. FPJ is potent, so you always dilute it before applying. For soil rebuilding, a ratio of 1 tablespoon of FPJ to 1 liter of water works beautifully. When you water your soil with FPJ, you're introducing a living tonic that boosts microbial activity, strengthens root formation, and speeds up organic matter breakdown. Over a month of regular use, soil that was once dead, compacted, or depleted can transform into soft, rich, biologically active earth. Gardeners often describe the first month of FPJ application as a soil awakening. Suddenly, earthworms return, soil softens, water retention improves, plants grow deeper roots. The shift is visible. If you're growing vegetables, FPJ also strengthens seedlings, improves early growth, and increases resilience against pests and diseases. Plants become sturdier, greener, and more vigorous. But don't overdo it. Even something natural and powerful can overwhelm when used too often. Once or twice a week is plenty. FPJ didn't disappear because it stopped working. It disappeared because gardening moved towards store-bought solutions, fertilizers, chemical additives, and packaged organic mixes. Traditional methods like FPJ were pushed aside in favor of convenience. But convenience always comes at a cost. Over time, soils treated with synthetic fertilizers become depleted, lifeless, and overly dependent. FPJ offers the opposite. It rebuilds, restores, and revives. The revival of FPJ in modern organic gardening is a sign that we're returning to our roots, to methods that support the soil, not strip it, and that's why I'm sharing it with you here on Soil Stories. I've tested countless natural remedies over the years, from compost teas to worm extracts to microbial inoculants, but FPJ remains one of the most reliable, consistent, and surprisingly powerful soil tonics I've ever used. Something almost magical happens when you give soil a dose of pure plant vitality. It responds immediately, almost gratefully, and the results are hard to ignore. If you have struggling beds, weak plants, compacted soil, or just want your garden to thrive without chemical inputs, FPJ is a gift you'll return to again and again. And the best part? It's completely free. Everything comes from your backyard. Plants, sugar, jars, time, and a bit of curiosity. This is exactly the kind of forgotten wisdom that Soil Stories is all about. If you enjoyed this guide and want more forgotten garden secrets, natural soil boosters, and practical organic wisdom, make sure to subscribe to Soil Stories. Don't forget to share this article or video with a fellow gardener who might benefit from this powerful ancient technique. Together, we're rebuilding soil. One story, one garden, and one homemade brew at a time.